Gloves on. And now we are going to do this fireplace. Hey guys, we are here in Ashley's living room today, and recently I gave my fireplace a little German Schmear makeover, which gave Ashley a little itch. Gotta scratch it. So we love the rustic modern style. I feel like my fireplace is a little bit too rustic for my new rustic modern kitchen. It's open to the living room, so we're gonna add a little bit of the German Schmear to it. It's super easy to do, and I love how it lightened and brightened Whitney's space too. So we're gonna walk you through every step. First thing first, let's get this space taped off. Are you gonna do that? We're gonna do it together. Teamwork. Okay. So the very first thing we are going to do is tape off the floor that's around the fireplace. And what we're using right here is construction paper. So this is what you can find it at Home Depot or at Lowe's. We'll link to it in the description box below. Yes, it's like $10 a roll and you'll use it for so many things, so you'll thank us for buying it. So we are just gonna lay this out, cut it to size, and then tape it to the floor. This is so much easier with two people. We are taping down this paper to the ground, and we're using painter's tape because it will not hurt the floor when we take it off. And I've made sure over underneath the fireplace to get under the stone so that I don't hurt any of the wood flooring that comes up to it. Smart girl. Ash, what you doing up there? Well, we've taped off the floor, and now we need to tape off the walls that are touching the fireplace and the ceiling, and then we are ready to actually schmear. 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 All right, so we have got this whole thing taped off. Ash is gonna get the ladder, push it to the side. We are gonna go get our mortar mixed up and get going. All right, let's do it. Are you ready? Yes. Are you ready for this magic? Okay, so now it's time to get our mortar mix. So what we're using to do this German Schmear is actually a tile mortar, and it's super cheap. This is the bag we use. We will link to it in the description box below. And the big thing about this mortar is that it's white, because you definitely want to use a white mortar mix. We have a measuring cup, and this part is where you get to have a little bit of fun, because it's all about figuring out how thin you want this, your schmear to be. But this is just tile mortar, and it's a lot like mixing icing. You want to get the right consistency. And then I'm using a mixing rod. We can link to this one as well. There's also a really good inexpensive one on Amazon, and this is the best thing. It hooks to your drill and it does all the work for you. And I'm also using gloves to protect my manicure. So, good Lord, this is one of those. I can already see right now that it's super thin, and Ashley's drill is very excited about mixing it. So, okay, let's see where we're at now. Because what we want is, when I did mine, I wanted it to be kind of the consistency of a peanut butter. But I'm thinking Ashley's we're gonna do even a little bit more thin because her stone is much lighter than mine already. And I'm okay with a little bit of my stone peeking through too. I wanna get it kind of a whitewash effect. Now, it's gonna look very gray at first, and that's totally normal. As it dries, as it cures, it's gonna be a lot more white. So at this point, I think we're at a really good consistency. It's drippy, and we are actually going to be applying this with a paintbrush. So we're gonna take this inside and get started. Great job. Hey, thanks. Gloves on. And now we are going to do this fireplace. Now, we suggest starting in an area that you will see least. So like the front of Ashley's house is over here, you walk in, and so starting on this corner over here is gonna be our best bet. So we've got our paintbrushes. Now we are using inexpensive paintbrushes. We will link to these in the description box below. And we've got a mix, and now we're just gonna kind of like sample it on a stone down here and make sure that we like that. So scared. Are you scared? A little bit. Hey, did you ask John for permission? Okay, so step one, ask your better half if they're okay with it. I actually was like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna do that to my fireplace, and then I remembered that my husband really liked the stone when we built this house, which I did too, but I wanted to make sure he was okay with it, and I sent him a picture of Whitney's fireplace, and he was like, yeah, go for it. So there you go. Okay. So here we go. Now remember guys, when you first paint it on, this is where you get to kind of be the artist yourself. So Ashley's looking at it, deciding how much, and you have to remember too that it is going to definitely dry whiter than what you're seeing. So don't paint it on there unless you want it there, and it will leave some brush strokes, which we will show you a little bit later how we're gonna get rid of. Y'all can see she's gonna touch her grout just a little bit because Ashley's grout, it's definitely lighter than mine, but it's not white, and so we want it to kind of all blend. And
I'm actually okay with some of my stones showing through. I like the lighter stones, but I don't want them to be completely, I want them to be a little bit white.
So y'all can see right here, it's kind of like a very thin peanut butter. You can see she made a little mess, so it's a little splattery.
So I don't love this color. This is one of the colors on my fireplace that I don't like, so I'm gonna go a little heavier on the white right there. Act like I've done this before.
Yeah, she's such a pro. Fake it till you make it, right, Ash?
Right.
I'm gonna go get the other paintbrush to speed this process up.
I noticed once we started painting the stones that I liked when parts of the texture were showing the rock through, so we just made sure to just glaze over it with the paintbrush and not really like push it into those holes.
Right.
Because it has different holes in it for the texture.
You can always use the rule that you can always add more, but it's a little bit harder to take it off once it's there. It is forgiving, it's water soluble at first. However, once it's there, it's kind of hard to get off. So we started light, and then we would add more after it's set for a little bit.
And I got a couple of stones that I got a little bit too heavy on the mortar while I was trying to learn. So immediately after I noticed that, I wet a sponge and just went over it to get some of that mortar off.
All right, guys, so y'all can see here, we've already got this much done. We're gonna go mix some more mortar outside. We've got part of the hearth started and on our way up. So we are moving. And really there's no right or wrong amount to put on your stone. You're gonna look at your room, at your taste preference. Some of you may hate putting this on your stone, unlike us. So it's just a matter of what you like and what you think looks pretty in your space.
So we've worked our way all the way up so far, and I wanted to show you really quick on just this stone. We've got a bare stone right here, and I'm just gonna paint it on. And we've decided while we've been doing this that I really like some of that stone to show through. So I'm just going over it and not trying to get into those texture pieces. And you can tell it's a little bit murky up here. It's not completely white, but if you look down at the bottom where we've started, it's a lot whiter. It hasn't even dried yet, but it will be a solid white color when we get done. If Whitney hadn't have done this before and she wasn't here with me doing this, I would probably be freaking out right now after we did the first couple of stones, just because it doesn't look very good right here. But she assured me that it would turn white and it would start to look good, and it really, really is looking good at the bottom. So don't freak out.
Moral of the story, everybody stay calm. Everyone's gonna be okay. Okay, so tell them where we're at right now.
Okay, so we have been at this for about an hour and 45 minutes, and my fireplace is huge, and we are about done. I'm just gonna finish some of these spots up here and get in the grout really good, and we're gonna let it set for about 45 minutes, and then we're gonna get a sponge and get after it and show some of that brick, the stone.
Did you smear your hair too?
Did I? You tell me, I can't see it.
A little bit. And all the places.
I smeared everything. So we let this set for about 45 minutes to dry, and our plan was to come back and use the sponge with the water and kind of get some of that mortar off if we wanted to, or to go back and put some mortar on some spots that we felt like needed to be more white. But once it dried very white, and we thought it looked great as is. But if you want a little bit more, you can add more at this point or kind of take some away.
Our fireplaces are made of sandstone, and on a few of the stones you could see the natural color kind of bleeding through that first coat of mortar. So no panicking, we let that set up and dry that first coat, and then we went right back over it, and you couldn't ever tell that it was ever there.
I absolutely love my fireplace now. I've been staring at it for 2 years, wondering what I can do to it to get that super rustic look out. I still love the stone, but I really wanted to give it a little bit more modern look, and it adds so much light to this living room.
So we only spent $65 on this makeover. We were looking for a project that would make a big impact on our small budget, and I think this one just fit the bill.
And it makes me love my living room even more.
Y'all be sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss another video that we have in store.
And make sure that if you do any of our projects or build any of our pieces, that you use hashtag Shani2Chic on social media so we can share them too.
Hashtag Schmear.
Hashtag Shani Schmear.
Shani Schmear. That's happening.